The hidden truth about money. Why more isn't the answer? What if everything you've been told about money is only half the story? In this deep dive, we're unraveling the secrets to financial freedom, not through chasing bigger paychecks, but by mastering the art of managing what you already have. Get ready for a journey that's equal parts practical wisdom and soul-stirring inspiration, sparking curiosity to rethink your relationship with money and discover the path to lasting wealth. The grind we all know. Picture yourself waking up before dawn, the weight of a day already pressing on your shoulders. You drag yourself through traffic, juggle deadlines, and push past exhaustion, all to earn a living. Late nights blur into early mornings, and every paycheck feels like a hard-won victory. You pray for a breakthrough, a raise, a new job, a side hustle that finally takes off. And when that money hits your account, you breathe a sigh of relief, whispering thanks because you know just how much sweat and sacrifice it took to get there. This is the grind so many of us live. It's the reality of working hard, hoping for better, and holding on to faith that the next opportunity will change everything. But here's the question that stops you in your tracks. What happens when the money comes, and it still doesn't feel like enough? You're not alone if you've ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did it all go? The truth is, no matter how hard you hustle, or how much you earn, if you don't know how to manage it, you'll always be chasing more. Curious? Let's peel back the layers of this hidden truth. The hustle culture trap. Society loves to glorify the grind. Work hard now, enjoy later, they say. Keep pushing, keep climbing, and one day you'll have it all. There's wisdom in that. Effort is the backbone of progress. But here's where it gets tricky. Hustle culture often leaves out the other half of the equation. It tells you to chase more hours, more projects, more income, without teaching you how to care for what you already have. It's like running a race with no finish line, pouring every ounce of energy into moving forward, but never stopping to check if you're even on the right path. Imagine this. You're earning 5 times what you made a few years ago. Your paycheck is bigger, your job title is fancier, and you're finally making it. But if your spending habits grow just as fast, new gadgets, bigger rent, fancier dinners, you're still at square one. Or worse, you're in the red, drowning in debt despite the bigger numbers in your account. This is a trap so many fall into, and it's not because they're lazy or foolish. It's because they've bought into the lie that more money is the answer to every financial struggle. I've seen it happen time and again. People double their income, only to double their expenses. They think the solution to stress is a higher salary, but the moment that raise comes, they upgrade their lifestyle to match. A better phone, a new car, a bigger house. It's a cycle that feels like progress but keeps them stuck. Even celebrities, athletes, and influencers with millions in their accounts aren't immune. One bad investment, one reckless decision, and it's gone. Why? Because it's not just about how much you earn. It's about how you handle it. Ready to dig deeper? The real test, earning versus managing. Here's where the real truth hits. Earning money is only half the battle. The moment your prayers are answered and the fruit of your labor starts to show, that's when the true test begins. It's one thing to make money. It's another to keep it. And it's even harder to grow it. This is where the difference between financial struggle and financial freedom lies, not in the size of your paycheck, but in your ability to control your choices when the money comes in. Think about it. You've worked hard, maybe harder than anyone around you. You've put in the hours, taken the risks, and earned every cent. But if you don't have a system to manage that money, it's like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. No matter how much you pour in, it'll never stay full. Those holes, they're the small, sneaky leaks in your financial habits. Impulsive purchases, subscriptions you forgot to cancel, or emotional spending to reward yourself after a tough week. These leaks might seem insignificant, but over time, they drain what could have been a blessing, turning abundance into anxiety. I learned this lesson the hard way. There was a season when I was earning more than I ever had. Projects were rolling in, endorsements were piling up, and the blessings were overflowing. I felt unstoppable. But at the end of every month, I'd look at my account and ask, where did it all go? I wasn't living extravagantly. No mansions or sports cars, but I also wasn't paying attention. I wasn't budgeting, wasn't saving, wasn't planning for the future. I was just going with the flow, thinking as long as the money kept coming, everything would be fine. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. That mindset, relying on income to solve every problem, is dangerous. It blinds you to your own habits, making you think the answer is always more instead of better. I've met people earning 6 or 7 figures who are still living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because their lifestyle grows with their income. The moment they get a raise, they buy a better phone, move to a bigger place, or take out a new loan. It's a cycle. More income, more expenses, no peace. And the worst part, they often look successful to the world. Nice clothes, fancy cars, Instagram-worthy vacations, but inside, they're stretched thin, worried about keeping up the image, terrified of losing it all. The illusion of success. This is the trap of mismanagement. It hides behind the illusion of success. Big numbers in your account can make you feel like you're winning, but if your habits are broken, those numbers are just a mirage. You might be earning more than ever, but if you're not intentional, you're not actually getting ahead. Financial security doesn't come from income alone. It comes from awareness, from knowing exactly where your money is going and why. Let's be real. We've all spent money for reasons that have nothing to do with need. Maybe it's a new outfit to feel better after a rough day, a pricey coffee to treat yourself, or a gadget you just had to have because everyone else did. These moments feel harmless, even justified. You work hard, so why not reward yourself? But when emotional spending becomes a habit, it's like poking tiny holes in that bucket. One purchase might not sink you, but 100 small, thoughtless decisions will. Before you know it, you're wondering why your bank account is empty despite your hard work. The world doesn't help. Social media bombards us with images of success, luxury brands, exotic trips, perfect lives. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind if you're not keeping up. But here's the truth. Many of those successful people are drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or stressed about maintaining the facade. They're not free. They're trapped by the pressure to look the part. True financial freedom isn't about looking rich. It's about having control, peace, and the ability to live on your terms. Discipline, the quiet strength. So what's the answer? It's not a secret formula or a magic investment. It's discipline, the kind that doesn't get likes or applause but builds a foundation that lasts. Discipline is choosing to say no, even when you can afford to say yes. It's tracking your spending, even when it feels tedious. It's saving a portion of every paycheck, no matter how small, because you know your future matters more than the moment. Discipline isn't glamorous. No one's going to throw you a parade for cooking at home instead of ordering takeout, or skipping the latest sale to put money in your savings. But these quiet choices are where wealth begins. They're the bricks that build a life of stability, not stress. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need a huge income to start. Whether you're earning minimum wage or 6 figures, discipline works the same way. It's about being faithful with what you have, right now in this moment. I know people who've built incredible financial security with modest incomes. They're not flashy, they don't post their bank accounts or brag about their purchases, but they have peace. They have options. They can handle emergencies without panic, give generously without worry, and sleep soundly knowing they're not chained to their next paycheck. How? Because they've made discipline a way of life. They budget, they save, they plan. They don't just react to money, they lead it. Discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. It's not about depriving yourself, but preparing yourself. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you're investing in a future where you're not just surviving, but thriving. And yes, it's hard, especially in a world that celebrates instant gratification. But the reward of discipline is greater than the thrill of impulse. It's the peace of knowing you're building something real, something that lasts. Wisdom, the guide for your hustle. Discipline gets you started, but wisdom keeps you steady. You can work day and night, pouring your heart into every opportunity, but without direction, you're just spinning your wheels. Wisdom is the ability to pause, reflect, and make choices that lead to long-term stability, not just short-term wins. It's asking, is this the best use of my money? Or will this help me move forward? Or is it just keeping me busy? I've known people who give everything to their jobs or businesses, working harder than anyone, but they never stop to think about how they're using what they earn. They assume if they keep pushing, something will click. But effort without wisdom is like running in circles. It looks like movement, but you're not getting anywhere. Wisdom teaches you to work smarter, not just harder. It's learning about how money works, seeking advice from those who've been where you want to go, and surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Financial wisdom shows up in the quiet moments, when you choose to invest instead of splurge, when you read a book about personal finance instead of scrolling social media, when you say no to an opportunity that doesn't align with your goals. It's not about knowing everything. It's about being teachable, curious, and intentional. And most importantly, wisdom reminds you that money isn't just about math, it's about mindset. You can have all the right numbers in your account, but if your thinking hasn't changed, you'll still make poor choices. Wisdom aligns your decisions with your values, helping you build a life that reflects what matters most to you. It's the difference between chasing success and building a legacy. So, pair your hustle with insight. Let your effort be guided by clarity. Because when wisdom walks with your work, you're not just moving, you're building something that endures. Managing momentum, sustaining success. There are seasons in life when everything seems to click. Doors open, opportunities flood in, and the blessings are pouring. This is momentum, and it feels like a gift. Your hard work is paying off, and you're finally seeing results. But here's what I've learned. Momentum starts success, but management sustains it. Without a system to handle what's coming in, that wave of progress can crash as quickly as it rose. I've seen people skyrocket to success, social media stars, entrepreneurs, artists, only to lose it all because they weren't ready to manage it. They were carried by the energy of the moment, but lacked the structure to sustain the weight of what came with it. Momentum is powerful, but it's temporary. Seasons change, opportunities shift, and the demand you have today might not be there tomorrow. If you don't have a plan, budgeting, saving, investing, saying no to distractions, you risk losing what you worked so hard to build. Management is what brings order to the chaos. It's the quiet work no one sees, tracking your expenses, setting aside savings, planning for the future. It's choosing to stay grounded when everything around you is moving fast. It's the discipline to keep thinking long-term, even when short-term wins tempt you to relax. This is self-leadership, taking responsibility not just for what you earn, but for how you handle it. Good management gives you power. It gives you peace. It ensures that your income isn't just growing, but that your habits are maturing with it. And when you manage well, you multiply what you've been given. But neglect it, and you'll lose it. The choice is yours. Ride the wave of momentum with wisdom, or let it sweep you away. Money is a tool, not a trophy. At the heart of this journey is a truth we often forget. Money is a tool, not a trophy. The world wants you to believe your worth is tied to your possessions, your car, your house, your clothes. It tells you that the more you have, the more valuable you are. But that's a lie, and chasing it leads to a race you can never win. There's always someone with more, always a new trend to follow, always a higher standard to chase. In that race, you'll exhaust yourself trying to prove something that was never true. When you see money as a tool, everything changes. You stop spending to impress and start building with purpose. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and start asking, "What will this do for my future?" Money becomes a resource to bless your family, support your dreams, and create freedom, not just for you, but for those around you. It's like a hammer. You don't put it on display or take selfies with it. You use it to build, to repair, to create. The value isn't in the tool itself, it's in what it allows you to do. But when money becomes a trophy, you fall into a trap. You start comparing, performing, spending to prove something. Slowly, you lose control, chasing a feeling that never lasts. True success isn't about how loud your lifestyle is. It's about how secure your foundation is. It's about aligning your finances with your values, using money to serve your mission, not your ego. So, let money be your instrument, not your identity. Use it to bring peace to your home, to bless others, to build a life of meaning. Because in the end, it's not about how shiny your trophy looks. It's about how wisely you've used it. The power of small choices. Here's the good news. You don't need a massive income to start building wealth. You don't need to wait for a windfall or a lucky break. The path to financial freedom begins with the small, intentional choices you make today. Every time you stick to a budget, save a little, or resist an impulse, you're laying a brick in the foundation of your future. These choices aren't glamorous. No one's going to notice you skipped the latest gadget or stayed home instead of eating out. But that's where the power lies, in the quiet, consistent decisions no one sees. Saving isn't exciting. It can feel slow, even boring. But every amount you set aside, no matter how small, is a seed. And when you plant those seeds consistently, they grow into something remarkable. Planning gives your money direction. It's the budget you create and actually follow, the emergency fund you build, the goals you write down and pursue. Planning lets you say no to things now, so you can say yes to better things later. And consistency, that's where the breakthrough happens. It's not about one big effort, but about choosing again and again to stick to your values, to keep saving, to keep growing, even when the results aren't instant. Wealth isn't built by chance, it's built by character. It's the commitment to show up every day, making choices that align with your purpose. While the world chases appearances, you're chasing stability. While others spend to impress, you're saving to invest. And the beauty is, you can start right now with whatever you have. A peso, a dollar, a cent. Every small decision matters. Your future self will thank you, and your life will reflect the strength of those silent choices. Staying rich, the intentional choice. Some people stumble into wealth, a lucky break, an inheritance, a viral moment. It looks like success, feels like a dream. But here's what time always reveals. Getting rich can happen by accident, but staying rich is never accidental. It's intentional. Money that comes quickly can leave just as fast if it's not handled with purpose. Sudden success is thrilling, but it's also fragile. Without a mindset rooted in responsibility, that blessing can become a burden. History is full of stories, celebrities, athletes, entrepreneurs, who rose fast and fell faster, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lacked intention. Staying rich takes a different kind of strength. It's not about hype or trends, it's about steady, smart decisions made when no one's watching. Staying rich means living below your means, even when you can afford more. It's investing in things that grow, saying no to the unnecessary and asking, what will this mean 10 years from now? It's the budgeting you keep doing, the humility to keep learning, the discipline to keep managing, no matter how much you've gained. This isn't just about money, it's about values, maturity, and legacy. Because true wealth isn't about looking good, it's about lasting. It's about ensuring what you have serves your goals, supports your family, and brings peace instead of pressure. Freedom through control. We often think freedom comes from earning more, a raise, a new business, a big opportunity. But the truth is, true freedom doesn't come from making more. It comes from managing well what you already have. If you can't control your spending with a small income, a bigger one won't fix it. Money doesn't bring peace, control does. Control isn't about being stingy or scared to spend. It's about being intentional, knowing where your money goes and why. It's setting boundaries, creating a plan and sticking to it. When you track your expenses, save with purpose, and set goals, you start to feel a quiet confidence. It's the calm that says, I may not have everything I want, but I'm in charge of what I have. I know people with modest incomes who live free. They don't owe anyone. They sleep peacefully. They give generously. Why? Because they've learned to control what they have. On the other hand, I've seen high earners drowning in debt, stressed and stretched, not because they don't earn enough, but because they don't manage well. Freedom isn't found in the next big thing. It's built in the decisions you make today. When you take ownership of your finances, something shifts. You stop blaming your circumstances and start changing them. You stop waiting for more and start maximizing the now. You realize you're not powerless or stuck. You have everything you need to build the life you want, right here, right now. All it takes is the decision to take control. Money reveals who you are. Here's a truth that might sting. Money doesn't change you, it reveals you. It's a magnifier, shining a light on your values, habits, and priorities. It doesn't make you generous or selfish, wise or reckless. It gives you the power to express what was already there. If you're disciplined with little, you'll likely be disciplined with much. If you're careless now, more money won't fix it. It'll just make the mess bigger. That's why building the right foundation now is so important. Who you are in the quiet moments, when you're budgeting, saving, or choosing not to spend, that's who you truly are. And that's what money will one day reveal. If you're spending to impress, it might show a need for validation. If you're investing wisely, it reflects maturity and vision. The question isn't, What will I do when I have more? It's, what am I doing with what I have now? You don't need to wait for a windfall to become a better version of yourself. Every decision, every peso, every small moment where you choose wisdom over impulse is shaping your financial identity. When money comes, and it will, let it reveal strength, not expose weakness. Build the character now, and the money will follow. When it does, it won't change you. It'll reflect the wise, steady person you've already become. The power of starting small. We often tell ourselves, when I have more, I'll do better. More income, more opportunities, more freedom. Then we'll budget, save, and manage. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you can't manage the little you have now, you won't magically know how to manage more later. Discipline isn't taught by money, it's taught by practice. What you do with small amounts matters because it's training for the big ones. Every budget you stick to, every impulse you resist, every cent you save is a step toward a stronger mindset. You're not just managing money, you're managing yourself. And that's the heart of financial wisdom. It's not about the size of your salary, but the strength of your stewardship. Don't despise small beginnings. The future you want starts with the choices you make today. Not dramatic, flashy ones, but consistent, quiet, intentional steps. Track your spending, even if it's small. Save a portion, even if it's not much. Stick to a plan, even if it's tight. These aren't limitations, they're preparation. You're proving to yourself and the future that you're ready for more. If you wait for enough to start managing, you'll never begin, because enough keeps moving. It shifts with every promotion, every upgrade, every new responsibility. Draw the line now, and you'll stop chasing control. You'll start cultivating it. Be excellent with what you have, even if no one sees it. Because when you manage the little with care, you're building a life ready for increase. The deeper truth, wisdom over wealth. After all the talk of discipline, management, and faithfulness, one truth rises above the rest. Financial wisdom isn't about how much you earn, but how well you think. Your income is just part of the story. What shapes your future is how you process, decide, and act with what you have. It's your mindset, not your paycheck, that defines your financial life. You can earn millions and still be broke, anxious, and unprepared. You can earn minimum wage and have peace, progress, and purpose. The difference isn't the number, it's the thinking behind it. Wisdom is seeing the bigger picture, choosing patience over pressure, and intention over impulse. It's asking, will this decision still be right 5 years from now? It's choosing clarity over confusion, even when it's uncomfortable. Most financial struggles don't come from a lack of money, they come from a lack of clarity. We follow habits we've seen growing up, spend based on emotions, or avoid our finances out of fear. But the moment you decide to think better, to pause, learn, and reflect, everything shifts. Wisdom asks better questions. What do I value most? Why do I spend the way I do? What am I really chasing? Growing in financial wisdom means growing in self-awareness. It's understanding your motives and changing your habits. And the best part, wisdom is available to everyone. You don't need a degree or a big bank account, just a willing heart and a teachable spirit. That kind of thinking multiplies your resources, creates margin, and prepares you for abundance. Not by increasing what you have, but by strengthening who you are. Your story starts now. Money will come and go, but what you do with it will define your life. You don't need to wait for millions to start managing well. You don't need to be rich to act wise. The truth is, how you handle what you have right now, no matter how little or how much, prepares you for what's next. It's not about big breakthroughs, but small, silent, consistent choices that build a future of peace, purpose, and freedom. Don't just chase money, learn to steward it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much you have, but how well you've handled it. Let your story be one of discipline, wisdom, and intention, not just wealth, but legacy. Start today, with whatever's in your hands, and watch how those small steps lead to a life that's not just rich, but truly free.